Hello everybody, we're back here at Hey Trainer with yet another deck demo. We've got a Vikavolt Tapu Bulu GX list that recently did very well in Madison on board, thanks to Pokemon Toya for the recommendation in the list. What we'll be doing is we'll be briefly going over some of the decisions in the list that was submitted to us, and then playing a couple sample games with it. Alright, so for the most part, it looks pretty straightforward. We've got Vikavolt, its strong charge to let you energize your Pokemon, get a Grass and a Lightning into play, and attach them however you want. Very helpful to break the 1 energy per turn rule. And this is especially helpful with Tapu Bulu GX because its Nature's Judgment attack lets you deal 180 damage if you discard all of its energy. Sounds like a pretty tough thing to deal with, but because we can strong charge with Vikavolt, it's really not that big of an issue. And also, Tapu Wilderness GX is the main GX attack we'll probably be using most of the time. It's really good, both as an offense and as a defensive tactic, because your Tapu Bulu is going to get hit a little bit during the game, so if you're dealing OHKO one-shot worthy damage to the defending Pokemon at the same time as healing up your Tapu Bulu, then you're in a commanding position and can win lots of games that way. Now, there are a couple weirder, more nuanced choices here. We've got one Drampa GX, and that's to slow your opponent down, basically. We're not playing it as much for the Berserk attack as we are for Righteous Edge, to tank attacks and also to give you clutch draw power whenever you might need it in weird situations. Generally, I would prefer to use Tapu Wilderness as the GX attack for this list, but there are spots where you just can't draw anything, you're dead drawing, and you, for lack of a better word, are kind of up a hill without a creek. So we've also got several Tapu Lele, not only as a useful attacker, but as our main consistency crutch to the deck. Searches out supporters, lets you get everything into play, and keeps you going throughout the whole game while posing a significant threat with Energy Drive. Because remember, Vikavolt can charge to a turn, and if you have multiple Vikavolt in play, you can go from a Tapu Lele having no energy to 5 all at once, potentially one-shotting attackers itself. Then the last random little tech we have here to make it the complete Tapu AAA deck is we have Tapu Koko, which gives us our sole method of free retreat in the deck, and Flying Flip, which does 20 damage to all of your opponent's Pokemon. The main reason why we would run that card, even though there's so many other heavy damaging one-shot quality attackers, is because we want to put things in range. Not everything is in 150 damage range for the Tapu Wilderness attack. Sometimes attacks Pokemon aren't really in range for Mega Evolutions. I mean, Mega Rayquaza has 220 HP. That's not that hard with weakness, but looking at our list right here, there really aren't that many super viable lightning attackers to go up against a Mega Rayquaza on their own. So by dealing 20 to everything with Flying Flip, we put several things that would have been a lot harder to knock out in range. So let's take a look at some of our trainers, stadiums, and supporters. We got 1 energy recycler here to keep us going through the game, because you know we're going to be using up lots of energy with Tapu Bulu, lots of energy with Vikavolt, and just losing it naturally throughout the whole game. We've got a couple field blowers to get rid of that Garbotoxin, keep us going throughout the whole game as well, make it so that we don't lose our abilities and stay on board. And then we got Heavy Ball for a little bit of extra consistency here, where if you notice, the retreat cost on half of the Pokemon in this list are 3 or more. We got Charjabug with 3, we got Vikavolt with 3, and we've got Tapu Bulu itself, the main guy, with 3. So by running 2 of those, we have a way not only to get extra basics in a pinch, but we have an easy way to access our Vikavolt without discarding valuable resources, which is what our main item ball draw card, Ultra Ball, would normally do. So there's one weird little thing here I thought was worth noting. It doesn't show up in the close-up, but when you zoom out, you notice that there are only 3 VS Seeker in the list. Now, most VS Seeker counts in most lists typically total around 4, but this particular player decided to up it down, take it down just a little bit, because there isn't as much need to have 4 VS Seeker in this list, because you're searching for Tapu Lele supporter targets. You're not searching for nothingness, which is essentially what VS Seeker is at the first turn of the game. it's nothing until there's something in the discard, which makes it a little bit of an easier cut. Most people still run 4 in most decks, but I can understand where the deck builder is coming from here, and for that reason, I'll go ahead and give it the benefit of the doubt for the demo. Now we've got one Bridget here, lets us fill up our bench, get all of our main support cards, and our attackers out into play. We've got Brock's Grit, a supporter option, essentially doing the same thing as Energy Recycler, with the added bonus of shuffling in some of those valuable single copy Pokemon cards like Tapu Koko and Drampa GX. We've got, from there, relatively normal inclusions in decks. We've got Lysander to Gust, bring out Pokemon from the bench to the active position. We've got N and Sycamore for draw power, Olympia for switching, Skyla for a little bit additional searching options, and then Choice Band to deal extra damage, put things in range, and Floatstone for free retreat. And then the last little weird thing I'd like to note is the energy divide. Now, Vikavolt searches out a lightning and a grass. And for that reason, we want to stay relatively close in counts between the grass and the lightning. That's why this list has 7 grass and 5 lightning. But the reason why there's a little bit of a bias towards grass is because whereas Vikavolt and Tapu Koko really aren't using that much lightning energy, they're only using 1 and 2 respectively, Tapu Bulu is hogging all that grass energy. You need to draw into grass energy, and you need to search out grass energy. It needs to be there, and so for that reason, we have the emphasis on the grass energy. So now that you have a better idea of the deck, let's just go ahead and give it a go. All right. Now what we're going to go ahead and do here is challenge a random person on PTCGO. My ranking on PTCGO is pretty good. I'm not the absolute top of the rankings because I play weird decks, and to be perfectly honest, I'm not focusing 100% of the time, but it should be good enough to give us a good game. So I'm going to go ahead and look for an opponent, and all in all, I'd say right now is a pretty good metagame for the Vikavolt Tapu Bulu deck. There are some threats. You notice that list was running a pretty heavy item count even with less than 4 via Seeker. I still think it does decent against Garbodor, Trashalanche, especially with the 2 Field Blower to knock off Garbotoxin and be able to use abilities. So let's see what we got. We got what could be a Garbodor deck. We won the flip, that's always good. It's not that big of a deal in this deck, but it definitely does not hurt. We've got active Grubbin and a relatively questionable opening hand here. There are a couple ways we could take this, but let's not speculate too much until we get our next card. Okay, so it looks like we've got a Rayquaza deck of some kind. This could be either a dragon list or it could be a colorless list. I'm leaning towards the player running just all 4 of the basic dragon and then actually focusing on Rayquaza itself as the main attacker. So I can go ahead and play this heavy ball now, or I can hold on to it. And I'm actually going to go ahead and hold on to it. I don't have anything that's an incredible search option. I could grab Tapu Bulu, but on the other hand, I want to have access to a turn 2 Vikavolt in case that poses itself as a possibility. So let's just go ahead and draw and pass. Now you may be wondering why people may want to run the Dragon basic Rayquaza EX from colorless Mega Rayquaza EX Emerald Break deck instead of the colorless one. Well, that could be a whole bunch of different reasons. Again, it's kind of the same thing on, I said it earlier, you don't want to speculate too much, but there's a Skyfield, so that's making me think we're about a 90% sure thing for this to be colorless Mega Rayquaza. But anyways, back to the point. You kind of want to run this one at times, maybe a mix of the two, because Dragon Rayquaza EX is weak to Fairy, and against my deck specifically, which runs a whole bunch of lightning attackers, I mean, it's not the main focus, as we were talking about, but there are ways to one-shot a Rayquaza that's basic, and by not letting it have that lightning weakness, by having a little bit of diversity in which weakness you're exposing yourself to, you're in a little bit better shape when you hit those bad matchups. So there we go, there's the Mega Rayquaza as expected. And now we've also got a little bit more exposure of the specific variant of the list. We have Gearna to prevent all effects of attacks excluding damage. And at the same time, it looks like we got a Tapu Lele too. I would not be surprised to see a turn 1 Emerald break. In hindsight, it might have been a better decision to drop the Lightning onto the benched Grubbin instead of the active one, anticipating something just like this happening. That's one of the weird things about playing against Mega Rayquaza, is that sometimes it's hard to tell what the best approach to it is, but he whiffs it, and so I traded in what was a more conservative play for a more aggressive one, and I'll just go ahead and get that guy online. We will go ahead and heavy ball. Then we got two options. We could go Tapu Bulu or we could go Charge a Bug. I'm inclined to go for the Charge a Bug right now because if I pay really close attention to my prizes, I'll notice that I don't have any Tapu Lele prized, but it doesn't look like I have. It looks like I have one supporter prize. It looks like I have. Oh, excuse me. I think I don't have. I don't have any draw supporters prize. So I've got one of. Really, it doesn't look like most of my prize options are that good. So I'm still in top deck mode for the most part. I will go ahead and go for the Tapu Bulu just to give us a little bit extra bulk. Go ahead and strong charge, give us that energy that we need. And a little bit of a mechanical thing on PTCGO you got to keep in mind is you definitely want to be able to, at all times, make sure that you're getting both of those attachments. Because it's not sequential, you got to do it both at the same time. And so, anyways, I field blowered the Rayquaza, gotten rid of the Sky Field. I am going to lose a Stadium War mainly because I do not play the Stadium War, but that's okay. We are already off to a great start. So what I ultimately figured out last turn was that I have a lot of prizes. Excuse me, I have a lot of prized energy, so this is a little awkward. I've got, including that one I just drew, I had 2 lightning prized out of 5 total. So I'm already out of lightning to... Oh, never mind, I spoke too soon. I've got lightning back in the deck now, thanks to that end. And it looks like he runs a mix of the Rayquazas. He's pretty close to max rarity. I don't know about him discarding that Sky Field because by my count that's 3 out of 4. With potentially 1 prized. And that's not really that big of a deal. I'm not worried about having my bench brought down to 4 because I don't really need the 5th bench spot that much. There's a possibility that it could come bite me in the butt later, but I'm not too concerned right now. So we've got a double on the active. And we've got another missed attack. That's a little surprising. So we are going to go ahead and hold on to the energy recycler because we know we got the lightning back. We know we have enough for strong charge. So we got 1, 2. We're going to go with this strategy we've got going still. We're going to go ahead and dump both of them onto... on the Vikavolt. And we're going to hold onto that Sycamore for now. Try to set up our board. This is going to be a little bit of a different play here, but trust me, this is going to work relatively well. I'm going to Skylight, don't have a heavy ball to use, so I'm going to go ahead and get an Ultra Ball. Start getting my Charge-a-Bug ready for later. I'm going to have to attach that grass to the active. I think I'll go ahead and actually hold on to the Ultra Ball for now. That was probably a mistake right there. I think I got a little bit too ahead of myself. But at any rate, I'm happy enough to go ahead and discard the energy for now. That way, when I use my energy recycler, I'm getting back max energy. Now, it's debatable whether I would really need to do that, whether I would really need to worry that much about getting all 5 energy back to use it for as much as I can, but I think that's a good play because I want to play for the long game even though I am 4 prizes ahead, and that's the concession. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will hope to see you all soon.